Hello, hello. I hope that you're well. Welcome to today's episode, and I'm going to be talking about strategy type within human design. So, depending on where you're accessing this video from, on this channel where this video is hosted, there are a number of videos that talk about energy type within human design. And your energy type is how you operate within the world. Okay. And there are 5 energy types within human design, which is the projector, manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, and reflector. And today we're going to be talking about strategy. And strategy is how you interact with those around you. And each energy type has its own very, very specific strategy. So that when you then couple your energy with your strategy and then your authority, which will be in another video, and authority is about how you make decisions. If you take nothing else from human design, but you operate within the principles of your energy type, strategy, and authority, then you will be taking huge strides into not only deconditioning yourself and getting back to who you truly are, but creating a life that's filled with success and love and joy and all those wonderful things that I'm sure we all want from our lives. So strategy is a really interesting one because often it can get confused with authority. But as I said, with strategy, this is how you interact with those around you. That's how I can best describe it. And you'll see why in a moment as I go through. So if I start with the projector, that's probably the most sensible place to start, because with projectors, I find it sometimes really sad because I see lots of people saying that they don't like being a projector, but being a projector is a superpower. And often the reason that they're saying that is because the strategy for a projector is wait to be invited, which, believe me, as a projector can be incredibly frustrating. And it's also something that I'm trying to talk to my daughter about because she's 13 and also a projector, and I'm watching her experience some of the things I experienced before I understood what waiting to be invited actually meant. So it literally means that when you have something to share or it's something of importance, that you literally need somebody to open up the space by asking you about it. And projectors love nothing more than sharing their knowledge. They love nothing more than being recognized for the wisdom that they hold and how they can help somebody, which is why that they're self-themed. So when they're truly aligned to being a projector, they'll feel success. But when they're not aligned and they feel that they're not being appreciated and they're not being heard, then they will feel they're not self-theme of bitterness. Waiting to be invited literally means somebody opening up the pathway in front of you and saying, what do you mean? What do you think? Okay. And often we can use it with the big things in our lives. So if you're looking for like a new job, normally that will come from somebody that you might know. And this is why with projectors, our job when we're waiting for the invite is to basically shine our light as brightly as we can in the method that suits our type. So for example, for me, I talk a lot, as you can probably tell. I write a lot, so I make sure that I show up on social media, for example, for my business in those ways that take advantage of those gifts to the best of my ability, so that when somebody sees it and they're ready to receive what I'm sharing, they will come and ask me about it. And I can honestly say all of my in the past, like my career opportunities have come from somebody I know, because they have literally either worked with me before, they've seen what I've done. With my marketing work that I do for a lot of different companies, it doesn't work for me to kind of go out there and do cold outreach. I basically need to kind of keep shining my light, shining my knowledge, and it attracts people into me. The other interesting thing about waiting to be invited, and the best way that I can explain this, is that because as a projector, you are an incredibly wise being, right? So projectors can see things that the other energy types can't, because we're here to guide. And because that wisdom holds so much knowledge and it is fueled by so much experience, your body is like a little bubbling pot, right, with all this information. And there is nothing more depleting, I guess, than sort of delivering that hard-earned wisdom and knowledge to somebody and then them just go, oh, okay, and then not do anything with it. And normally that happens because the other person hasn't opened up the channel to receive that information. So this is why waiting to be invited is so important. it clears that pathway. It ensures that when you're going to deliver that information, it lands in the most helpful way that it possibly can. Otherwise, it will look like you are just talking over people, you're just sharing things and being a bit of a know-it-all, which of course you're not. You just literally know what you know and you want to share it because you're excited, but maybe the other person isn't ready to receive it, so they're not going to respond to it. You know, I've been in situations where I've also been in a room with multiple people, and I think I mentioned from earlier videos where people are talking and I go to share something and it feels like sometimes I haven't been heard. So then the person next to me may repeat what I've said, and then everyone will look to that person and will go, oh yeah, that's great. And I'm sitting there all ego going, I just said that. Like, that's literally what I just said, you know, and being really confused and not understanding why they didn't hear literally the words that came out of my mouth. And it wasn't until I understood that the strategy for projectors is wait to be invited. It takes a lot of time and energy to train yourself to be patient. But I think when you start to innately understand that you hold, you know, so much information and that you want to help people, and the best way you can help somebody is to ensure that that information lands with them, and that they have opened the channel to receive it. Hence reason, wait to be invited. They are asking you for your thoughts. So that's for a very, very like quick overview, I guess, of a projector strategy. And I will do separate videos on the strategies, but I wanted to do one that just talks about all of them so you could just dip in and out. The second one, second energy type I'm going to talk about is a manifestor. And the manifestor strategy is to inform. And the reason for this is because manifestors are very, very independent. They're not here to get approval from anybody else. They're not here to ask other people's opinions. They literally forge the path that they want to walk. And when they are brave enough to kind of go ahead and walk that path, other people will join them on that journey, right? They are here to create missions and movements, and excite other people so that they join them. And so what happens with a manifestor is that the need to inform is literally just to share what it is that they are wanting to do so that it clears the pathway of any resistance. And I have seen this play out in my manifesting generator husband. So he also has a strategy to inform and respond. So he takes the inform part from the manifestor and the respond part from the generator. But if I look at the inform part, the times where he doesn't inform, he literally experiences a pickle in something he's trying to do, simply because their energy is wanting to get something done, right? It's wanting to kind of forge forward and get to the end destination. And if they don't inform, it doesn't clear that pathway, and it will create friction and resistance. They may find obstacles. With my husband, you know, if he wants to go and do something as simple as he's going outside to go and cut the grass, I don't know. You know, he'll literally say to me, I'm going out to cut the grass. And I've got so used to it after all these years. I kind of just go, okay. Like, I don't ask to be told or anything like that. It's just what I now know is part of his strategy, and that he's always embraced that side. But if he doesn't inform, then normally something will happen. The lawnmower broke down, literally. Like, something will happen, you know, the grass is too wet to be cut. Something strange like that. It's really, really interesting. And I've watched him play this out in his life. So the informing part, I think, is particularly important. But again, to stress, this is not where you're asking for somebody's permission, because manifestors do not ask for permission. Manifestors are on their own path. They're on, you know, trying to get to their own objectives. And we need them to do that and to get to where they are intending, so that the rest of us can, like projectors, can guide. The generator types can go ahead and build and support the manifestors and bring in what they want into fruition. And the reflectors will calmly sit back and watch in and essentially be the gauge to tell us how we're doing, right? So the informing part's really, really, really important. I think when you look at a generator, their energy type is to respond. And the reason for the response, again, is because that enables them to decide and discern what invitations and what is showing up in their world that they truly want to respond to. Now, they're going to use their authority. So sometimes it could be an emotional authority, it could be a sacral authority. So we'll talk about that in a separate video, but they'll use their authority to discern whether it's right or wrong for them. We know that generators are highly enthusiastic. You know, they love what they do. They're very, 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 very passionate. So not everything that shows up in their world is for them to respond positively to. They'll need to use their authority to discern whether it's right or not for them. But what generally happens is that with a generator, unlike any of the other types, when they decide that they want to do something, they'll suddenly notice all of these different opportunities showing up in their world. So for example, if a generator wants to buy a car, right? I'm going to buy a car, right? That's my decision. It's something big that they need and want in their life. And then all of a sudden they may start to see things showing up in their external world. So maybe it'll be offers on cars, maybe it'll be offers around finance, maybe they'll start to see the car that they're seeing, that they want rather, but in different colors, right? So these things will show up very, very, very quickly for them in their worlds to respond to. Sometimes it can be as subtle as just having a random conversation with a stranger. They can literally be, say, for example, on a train, and somebody starts talking to them about something. And then later on, when they're on their own, they'll be like, that's weird. Like, I was thinking about something to do with that, or that's affirmed something I've been wanting to make a decision about. It, you know, it's with generators, you know, awareness is going to be key, because sometimes if you're in a frenzy and you're rushing around too quickly, you may miss those signs that the universe is sending you. It's a bit like a pick and mix. It's sending you all these different things related to the decision that you have made and the thing that you want to do. And it's your job to use your authority to then discern what it is right for you and what isn't. Right. So for example, I just want to be really clear about this. If you're a generator and you have a sacral authority, that's a gut response, and that has a sound. For yes and for no. Okay, we've trained that out. Generators have trained that out of themselves. So if you have a generator child, it's really helpful if you can keep them tapped into their sound. If you have a manifesting generator, so manifesting generators take the manifestor and the generator part, and they have a 3420 channel, which is one of the most powerful channels within the chart. They may repeat the last word that you say. So my husband, he has 3420. And when I was watching him and his authority to try and discern how he kind of makes decisions, I noticed with him that he won't use his sacral sound because it's not the authority he has, but he repeats the last word that I say. So if I say I want to go out for dinner, he'll just go dinner. Like it's really like when you're aware of it, you can't unsee it. It's fascinating. Of course, my projectorisms just get all tingly and lit up when I suddenly spot all of these kind of patterns. It's very exciting. So as a generator, you need to be able to discern, otherwise you'll burn out. Because even though you've got a defined sacral, so i.e. you've got sustainable life force and workforce energy, you still have to discern where you want to spend that energy, or you could experience burnout. Okay, because you could just go and just become very deeply unhappy. And we don't want that. We want our generators to be lit up and excited and feel passionate about what they're doing. All right. The manifesting generator, I've kind of already just spoken about when I was sort of using examples from my husband, but manifesting generator, you can have the, you'll see sometimes with some tools, it's one or the other, but actually I've noticed with manifesting generators, and I have a few of them around me, that they have the informed strategy coupled with the response. So it's almost like they need both. So they need informed to be able to clear the path, because they've got energy and they're very determined, and they need to get to where they want to very quickly. Manifestors and manifesting generators can become impatient quite quickly if something gets in their way, and they can get a little bit cross. But the generator side of them wants to be lit up, right? It wants to be fueled by passion and excitement and fun, and just feel really lit up by this thing that they want to do. So in order for them to make sure they're doing the right thing for them, they also need to be able to respond to the opportunities that are showing up in their world and discern, using their authority, which one is going to be right for them. Okay. And then we have our reflectors, our wonderful reflectors, who are our chameleons, if you like. It is very, very normal for a reflector to go through multiple identities in their lifetime. to change the things that they want to do, maybe change their environments, change, their people, if you like. And it's because they are completely open in terms of their charts, which means that they are here to experience all that life has to offer. And so as a result of that, they're balancing a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of information, and they could be doing it in a very, very subtle way, right? But they need the patience and time to make the right decisions for them. So when it comes to making big decisions about their life, so where they, people that they want to become, maybe communities they want to join, maybe it's relationships, work, where they want to live, anything like that. For a reflector, they need to wait for the 28 to 30-day lunar cycle, literally the whole cycle. And we advise that with reflectors, if you get hold of a lunar chart and you write down, like journal on each day, just how you're feeling, just kind of the thought process of a decision that you're trying to make, you'll be able to see your pattern, right? And that will give you the assurance that waiting for that entire lunar cycle is the right thing for you to do. You need to take your time. You cultivate a lot of patience. And sometimes, people looking in might think, oh gosh, why won't they just make a decision, right? Why are they taking so long? And it's because reflectors need that. We need to honor and give reflectors, because they are so special, the time and the space to make the right decisions for them, because we need them. They are so powerful, right? We need that when they come into our aura and they work with our energy types, they are our mirrors, and we need them to be at their optimal selves so that we can be our optimal selves. And so, waiting that lunar cycle is going to be really important. It's very interesting because as we talk about deconditioning and removing some of the things from our lives that maybe other people have imprinted on us, or environments have imprinted on us, relationships, things like that, you start to realize that we apply the same kind of expectation on everybody without really understanding that we're all very, very, unique and individual. And if we do nothing else but understand that, somebody's could be, for example, a projector, and they won't offer their wisdom and their advice unless they're invited. They're not being unhelpful. It's just that if they're honoring their strategy, they know that what they've got to say is going to be impactful. And they want to make sure that that path is cleared so that you'll receive the best example of what they have to share, right? If we look at our generators and our manifesting generators, you might feel that, for example, with them, they're always forging ahead. They're really, really quick. They're kind of just picking up lots of different things, but that's exactly what their types are meant to do. They're meant to have passion projects. They're meant to do things that light them up, because it's the energy of being lit up that infuses their project, that enables them to hit mastery and achieve what they want to achieve with that project, right? And then you've got like our manifestors. So our manifestors, they really, 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 they're our visionaries, right? They need to just stay in their own lane and go, right? But to do that, we need to be able to clear the path for them. And sometimes you might just say, well, they haven't even discussed it. They've just gone off and done it by themselves. Like, hello, it's exactly what they're meant to do, right? That's not to say that they can't work in a team or something like that, but they are very, very independent, and they will likely be the visionary. They'll likely be the leader within that team. And then you've got your reflectors always mirroring back to us. And, looking in on a reflector, you might feel that maybe they're constantly changing their identity to find out who they are, because they're sampling so many different energies and experiences. They're almost trying them on. They're trying on those identities. They're trying on the things that they're seeing and experiencing, right? And you might feel that they're never stable, when actually they're very, very stable, because they're experiencing all the energies that we have to share. They're reading our auras all the time, and they get to kind of try all of that on for to see if it fits. How cool is that, right? So when we start to really break down energy types and we start to look at things like strategy and how we're actually operating, you start to see how very, very special we all are. And I do want to do another video on parenting, because I'm very, very passionate about parenting, because I think, for example, if you have a generator child, encouraging them to use their decision-making authority from a very young age will be really important, because that's going to enable them to trust who they are, right? If you have a projector, understanding that, wait for somebody to ask you your opinion before you jump in and start sharing, because you're going to feel unheard and then you're going to get upset, right? If you're a manifestor, trust them to and empower them to step into their own power. you know, let them forge their path. And if that means that they have to trip and stumble, then that's part of their learning in forging their path, right? If you have a reflector child, you know, give them the space to figure stuff out. If they want to kind of dye their hair lots of different colors, that's them trying on a different identity, right? Let them do it. So it's really, really interesting, like what we are learning now. And it's the first kind of generation that are now growing up fully with human design influence. And I just think, you know, at the end of it, we can have some really incredibly fascinating and empowered human beings who just keep creating change and helping us to evolve. And honestly, there's nothing more exciting than that. If this video has helped you today, please let me know in the comments below. I'd so love to hear from you. Talk to me about your strategy. Share what you're thinking. Do you know anything about your strategy? Does any part of this video resonate? I truly, truly, truly love when you all write in the comments. So please do, because I'm always here to chat. Though you need to write in the comments because I have to be invited, projector. And of course, you know, feel free to share and subscribe to the channel as well if you'd like to see more videos. Take care, everybody. Speak soon. Bye.